Shading is the bee's knees of any kind of art. It gives volume, it gives it a sense of light, it can really boost contrast in an image. And so I thought I'd share with you guys my favorite shading technique and how I go from this to this in a couple of easy steps. Okay, so I've done this Demon Arale piece, and it's a relatively simple illustration, but it's lacking a little bit of drama, it's lacking that lighting, so I want to kind of add that in. So there's a couple of different ways I could do this. My favorite way is to bring in my layer panel, and I've got all my colors here on the same layer. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go down to my layer adjustments here, and I'm just going to go and select solid color. And that's going to put a color on top of everything else. And I can control that color pretty easily. I can just kind of slide it up. So if I want something a little bit kind of in the tones that I'm going, I'm just going to go for this kind of like dark purple. Then all I have to do is I've got a nifty little layer mask on here. Let me invert that so I can actually see my artwork. And then I can just come in and paint with white in the areas that I want. So now it's just a matter of me kind of choosing a light source. I'm going to go from a light source kind of lit up from the bottom. That's where the fire is coming from. It's a nice kind of dramatic light source. And there we go. And because I'm working on a layer mask, if I mess up anything, I can always just kind of switch that up and just kind of come in and edit that a little bit later on. And so now it's just a matter of me kind of taking the time to, you know, put all my shading where I need it to go. And so after a little while of playing around with this and getting the shading to be just right, I am left with this. But this is still a little bit too dark for me, and there's not a whole lot of variation happening. So I'm gonna drag my layers panel back in. I'm gonna put that layer on a darken. You can play around with different kind of layer modes. Often like multiply works pretty well. It tends to kind of make things a little bit dark and muddied. But we can kind of play with different kind of layer styles here. I usually find darken works best, and I'm going to drop the opacity down to like a 75% or something. And so what I like about this is two things. Number one, I can just double click on my solid color, and I can change that color to like maybe a warmer tone or kind of like a more kind of green tone that kind of fits with the color of the flames going in there. The second thing I really like about this is the shading is just there waiting for illustration to happen underneath it. So if I decide to make edits to this or add something in here, so let's say I want to add some little kind of skulls, like a little skull pattern to a shirt, you'll notice that that skull pattern is actually already got the shading applied to it. And so it's a really awesome way to work, and it's something that I kind of have a lot of fun playing around with, getting everything just right, and being able to make changes to the illustration underneath it without kind of losing any of that shading information. And so there you have it, my favorite way of adding shading to all of my illustrations. Hope that helped. Hope you guys got something out of it. Until next time, take care.